Most of the people wanted a live chicken because they wanted to save the head, the feet, and that to make their own soup. And the feathers, they'd make their pillows. So they tell them, I don't mind buying a chicken, but I want it alive. They say, sure. They wrap it up and they leave the head out. And when they go on a streetcar down the road, chicken will go, quack, 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 quack.
San Francisco has its trolley cars. Cleveland has a West Side Market.
Well, I now live in Toledo. Drew's originally from Toledo, and whenever I have the chance to head back to Cleveland, it's usually the market revolves around a visit. I compare all of the food that I eat to what the market offers, and a lot of places don't compare. Family tradition with going to the market is whoever's here on whatever day will make a trip. Whether Drew or I are here from Toledo or my sisters are here from Columbus, usually heads on to the market. So we'll hit coffee first. Have a great day. Thank you.
The Saturday morning trip to the market involves getting a cup of coffee, wandering around to see what looks good. Always involves going to Cape Royale to pick up desserts for Saturday night dinner, and whatever other recipe we've decided to make, we'll pick up what we need and wander around and see what's going on.
All right, let's head on. Oh, it's all cash. That is true, it's nice. How are you?
My husband and I were dating, and he said, hey, let's go to the West Side Market. And I said, I've always wanted to go to the West Side Market. This was probably in the late 70s we went. It was a very fun experience because it reminded me so much of my grandmother, and I started thinking what my grandmother had to do to go shopping 2-3 times a week. My grandmother was a very young widow. She was left with 6 children. Her house was rented. She only paid $5 a month, and she had no electricity, so she had an ice box. I call them the 100 stairs because when we'd go visit her, there were all these stairs behind her house, and like they just went way up in the ceiling, and I was never allowed up. I'd try to go up 2 or 3, and my dad would go, get down here, get down here. I didn't know the stairs went to the West Side Market. So every time I'm there, I think of my grandmother watching down on me.
Well, shopping was a ritual that people used to have to do day in and day out because you could not buy large quantities of food, haul them home in a car, and then stick them in refrigerators that are as big as a truck. So shopping was part of family life. It was something often that husbands and wives did together, or that women and their children did together because you needed help carrying the bags and the parcels, and you only bought enough for what you could use within the next couple of days, which made the market a very busy place.
The market used to be the original grocery store. Everybody came to the market. Everybody shopped at the market. Everybody in the city knows about the market.
It's my grocery store. It's where I do all my shopping.
Well, Dad was a laborer for the city, and basically his job was to keep the market clean. But his unique part of his job was he was the individual who had to climb up into that big tower and wind the clock that was in there at the time. That was, now today it's a mechanical digital clock, but back then it took winding once a week. And he had those steps counted. I forget how many there were, but I think it was 130 some steps. And shortly after I started working there, on one of the non-market days I was down there, he took me up in the tower with him. And about halfway up, Dad stepped on a step and one of the metal steps gave way. Yeah, he was not too keen on going back up again because he didn't know how sturdy any of the other steps were. And so he decided that his winding days were over.
You know, it's so interesting. The market really represents a particular period in Cleveland history, and it was designed intentionally to be a grand building because of the vision primarily of Mayor Tom Johnson, who was elected in 1901. He was a progressive. He believed that the city should serve all its citizens, not just the wealthy. And he had this idea that Cleveland, as it was becoming more modern, should be a model city for the whole country in the way that it served its population.
Every customer that out of town that come in, they always ask me, is this a train station? You know, like the first question they asked was the train station, and the second was it built for the market?
When the market was being designed by Hubbell and Bennis, the architectural firm that was very highly thought of at the time, Cleveland was the 7th largest city in terms of population, and by the time the market was finished and opened in 1912, we were the 6th most populous city in the country. So Johnson had this idea that we were a city on the move, we were an important place, and he wanted a building that expressed our sense of civic pride and the fact that we were an industrial powerhouse on the rise.
Another one of Dad's jobs was cleaning up what he called a pigeonitis that was left in the top by around the clock. But that was Dad's unique job, and he enjoyed doing it.
Sir? Years ago, people utilized the whole animal. The old saying in the meat business is they used everything but the squeal. Monday, I start out with quarters of beef and I mix seasonings and I do a few other things. Tuesday, I prepare everything but the steaks and the ground meat. Wednesday, I'm at my stand so I can see my customers and talk to my customers. You know, Vince, that was a little chewy or something. You get a feedback and you need to be here to get that. Thursday, I spend all day in the cooler getting ready for the weekend so I can spend Friday and Saturday at my stand.
They're all the most incredibly hardworking bunch of people who take pride in what they do, who believe that the only way they're going to survive is with good customer service. They depend on repeat business. They want you to like them and like what they have to sell.
And my stand would be my stage, and my cooler would be my rehearsal room where I get everything ready to sell a product that I put my own artistic twist into.
Wow, you know, it's hard to describe the vendors as any sort of single entity because it's such a unique collection of personalities.
My first day of opening, I sold $9 all day. I went home and I cried.
A lot of my competitors, when I first started the poultry, some were very accepting of me. They helped me with prices. And, you know, it's something you never forget, you know, the people that helped you come along, you know, that weren't intimidated by you being a competitor, that they actually helped you succeed. There's two that come to mind that were very helpful, and there's also a couple that come to mind that aren't here anymore too, which is the irony of it. And you know, they were hard on me. You know, that's business. You're gonna, you know, you can't get along with everyone. Yeah, about 3 inches.
You have young ones
19 years old, I own my first stand at the market.
and old ones. You have immigrant people.
So, and I thought the market would be the best place for me to start a business and get the dreams that I would like, that I always want.
You have vendors that are carrying on a tradition in their family that goes back 4 generations.
My family's history at the market started in 1934. My father's parents started the stand. So we are 4 generations, because I'm 3rd and my nephew is the 4th generation. My grandparents came from Italy, and apparently my grandfather was supposed to be in the mafia in Chicago. They were looking him up. My grandfather didn't want to be in that business, so he figured he would come here and haul for some other people that had stands at the West Side Market. And he figured if he could haul for somebody else, he can haul produce for himself. So that's how my grandparents started. $1.50. Thank you. Good week.
Look at that, that's pretty 7. You have vendors who bought the business from their bosses, and they're the first ones in their family to have a stand at the West Side Market.
When I started, I knew nothing about fish. The more I learned about seafood, the more fascinating it was. And I could bring a quality product to customers that they weren't able to find elsewhere. My son then came on board about 5 years ago and helped me grow the business, and it's just been going ever since.
The first time I was ever here, I actually came here on a field trip in 2nd grade with my grade school. And it was like nothing you've ever seen before. You know, we were just, you know, little 7, 8-year-old boys, you know, we were fascinated by all the lamb heads and stuff like that, and the livers and, you know, anything gross. I went home and told my parents about it and all that, and then it never came up again until 8th grade when I started working down here. My older brothers were working here in high school, and they got me in here, you know, and I never left.
What did you do then?
I did a lot of cleaning and more cleaning, and got to wait on customers too, you know, the ones that would let a, you know, 13-year-old wait on them, and you learned about people, and you learned really fast.
It's an amazing mix, as you'll see, for people who take the time to find the vendors that are going to be their vendors.
I have a wonderful relationship with the vendors. Some of them I could call as my close friends over the years.
My mother-in-law came from the old country. I always remember this on Thanksgiving. She went there and she says, "I'd like to have a chicken," because she liked to clean her old chicken and all that. And they says, "Everybody buys their turkey. Why didn't you buy a turkey on Thanksgiving?" "Because it costs more." He says, "I got the turkey for you." And she says, "Well, let me see." So he brought it out and she looked at it and she says, "What's wrong with this turkey? I don't see nothing wrong. It's got one eye. I'll buy it."
Well, my favorite meal to cook from the market is City Pasta. They have great homemade linguinis and pasta sauce, and they have a great lobster sauce. So usually grabbing things there and then going to Kate's Fish and getting whatever kind of fish we like to incorporate into it, whether it's salmon or rock shrimp or anything like that. So kind of getting different things and then going out to the produce and seeing what veggies look good and kind of adding that in, and Cake Royale to finish.
Hello! Good! You guys! How's Mom? Oh my God!
My parents have become good friends with the owners of Cake Royale. So Michelle and Denise, you know, every time we go there, that's another tradition.
Right, yeah.
They would always just make these fantastic cakes, and I knew they didn't really do wedding cakes, but being friends with the family, I kind of, you know, asked not only for a favor, but, you know, I'd really love if you guys did our wedding cakes.
So now the little newlyweds are already almost a year into their marriage.
I was gonna fix them to say coming up a year soon.
What, just...
Oh, we've got some time.
And it won't be long. You'll be bringing your little ones down here, starting a whole new tradition.
That's true.
Oh, I think you can't underestimate what an important gathering place the market is. It's one of the few venues in all of the city where people from all walks of life, different neighborhoods, different economic levels, different social circles, rub shoulders and come together. And they're all doing the same thing. They're all buying food. It's terribly, I don't know, I think it's like democracy in action.
America, it seems like everyone comes from every nationality, race, religion. It's a true melting pot of society and of Cleveland.
From German to Italians, Irish, Arabic, Italian. I mean, you can go around and name 20 different nationalities.
When I first came to this country back in '81 from Cambodia, and the people I lived with, they said, oh, you have to go to the West Side Market. So they brought me there as a tourist. The first thing I walked into the market was in the produce section. Back then, the produce section is still outside. And to them, it was so unique because of being outside stands and in the snow and the rain. But as for me, I feel like I come home. Because in my country, we have outdoor market. And to me, that was so much fun because like, oh, I'm back home to Cambodia again without have to, you know, fly there.
Everybody's money is good. Everybody's engaged in the same activity. And you get to see and hear and sometimes maybe even talk to people you would never have any interaction with at any other time. And you're all equal when you're schlepping bags at the West Side Market.
When you're doing your shopping, you see somebody and say, hey, I didn't know you go here. And then you start talking. How's the kids doing? How's your wife? You know, nosy.
Well, I think the most distinctive thing about shopping at the market is that you're going to talk to people. You can't shop there without interacting with other human beings. And I think in the world we live in today, that becomes increasingly rare, and yet we crave it. So you have to interact with the folks on the other side of the counter. It may be something brief and simple. You tell him how much you want. He holds up, you know, a bunch of bananas or a steak and says, how does this look?
And then I fill in with different things, especially I fill in with like lean bull meats on it. Because the meat I handle is choice, and the trimmings will be fatter. Right. So I'll fill in with bull meat. I buy hearts, tongue, with this, that, and the other. Yeah. $38.88. Thank you, sir. Hey, have a good one. Thank you.
But it can maybe something more intimate because you recognize each other and he asks you how you're feeling. Or you want to know how his kids are because you've been shopping there for years. It's so human and real and authentic. And we have so few opportunities for that. You can push your cart through a supermarket and never speak to another human being from the time you get out of your car until you swipe your credit card and leave the building. And you can't do that at the West Side Market. And I think people love that. I know I do.
get a lot of Europeans, a lot of Asians as customers, because those are the people who are eating fish. White bread America doesn't eat whole head-on fish. You know, they want to see their fish in, you know, nice, beautiful fish portions. And so we're able to carry both of those products and satisfy, you know, everybody's taste.
It's changed in the same way that the face of Cleveland has changed. You had immigrants from certain countries in the early years, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, Italy. In the 70s, you had people coming into Cleveland and so showing it up at the market from Southeast Asia. Now, Ohio City and Cleveland in general, the West Side, have lots of people coming from Latin America, and you see those changes reflected again in the market, in who the vendors are, who the shoppers are, and even the food that's for sale. I mean, once you couldn't find a jalapeno pepper at the market. Now they're there along with Cambodian spring rolls, and inside you can get Mexican tamales. It's all part of the changing, I guess, demographics create a changing foodscape and a changing social scene.
But there's so many things that I learned here, it's like Jamaican. You know, I ate the food, but I never know how to cook it. But because being here, I have those Jamaican people shop here, and they tell me how to do it. And in a way, the food's very similar from different cultures. The ingredient is, you know, the same, except just put in a different mixture. It's not just Caribbeans or Asian, but Europeans that I also learned. And I tried out and I let my kid taste it and they like it, and my kids always say, well, enjoy it when you can, because tomorrow mommy might cook in another culture, another country, and I tell them, say, hey, you don't have to go there, you can just eat it here. So.
It's not just about buying food, it's about relationships and it's about people. It's where people come to see each other. People come here on holidays and reminisce about when they would come in when they were little kids.
There's this family, I can't think of their name, but if they see this, they'll know who they are. They're here every year. I think they come from all around the country, and then they meet at the market every day after Thanksgiving. You see a lot of that. Actually, on the day after Thanksgiving, no one's really buying a lot of food, but they're coming here, just a lot of people out of town, you know, and that's where they meet in the city. And I think it was like 100 years ago, too, just the whole gathering around food.
It was around the holidays several years back, and I proposed to her on the balcony that overlooks the whole market.
I didn't know, I had no clue that he was going to be doing that. So it was just, at that point, it was just me and him. I didn't know that he had kind of orchestrated that my family was going to be there, and they were kind of waiting in the car for the okay to come in and share the moment with us. And, you know, he proposed to me, and I was kind of in shock a little bit. And there was a couple sitting next to us, and after it happened, they're like, we couldn't believe that just happened. It was just really great, and yeah, around Christmas time, it was just, you know, the big wreath was above the balcony, and it was just a really beautiful moment.
When I go on shopping, when I look in it, I say, you know, I love the West Side Market because it's so unique. And even though I'm here 6 days a week, I feel this is my home.
There are only a handful of these markets in the entire country, and to have a building with the historic value that this one does, and with vendors that still operate the way that they did 100 years ago, is fantastic.
No one else has an actual market like this. We've tried to keep this as traditional as possible.
There are those who advocate for change, and there are those who staunchly oppose change. But I think what will make the market last another 100 years is for it to continue to be exactly what it is. To be a place where people can come to buy food. Not come to dine, not come as a tourist, not come to buy souvenirs, but to be authentically itself as it always has been. Everybody needs to eat. Some people do it fancy, some people do it simply, some people want to buy the most inexpensive food that they can, and the market serves those people. Other people don't mind spending a few extra dollars for things that are hormone-free or grass-fed or imported from Italy or France or grown organically by a farmer 50 miles away, and the market serves those people too. And I think as long as it stays true to its original purpose, the market has a very, very bright and promising future for another 100 years.
There's a place I love to go. It's a place I think you know, my friend. I'll see you there. It's not brand new or made of chrome. Maybe that's why it feels like home, my friend. I'll see you there, my friend. I'll see you there, my friend. I'll see you there.